Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Rant Class. So, this week I will again talk about abortions. I have talked about them before, but I feel that I can do better and I can do more. So, again, today I will talk about them in the light of all the cases from Texas and how abortion, for some reason, seems to be removed in countries around the world. So, what scares me about this is how easy it is for religion to still have a major impact in 2021 on how politics are made. It feels like every time something like this happens that we go 50 steps back in time instead of trying to go forward and reach a better place. And what also scares me is after the first abortion episode I made, I had some talks on my social sites, and I saw a pattern in how some people kept saying that it was always the women that had to be blamed when it came to incest and rape. And it scared me how easy they cast all the blame on women and girls who is already down after something that terrible. And I know from my life women who have been victims of both incest and rape, and it's not easy being them afterwards. And if we then also told them, well, they were themselves to blame, and we were not able to give them the help that they needed, or the help that they sought, or they were not even able to seek it out due to laws saying that they couldn't. And it's like we are saying we don't care. And I fear for the alternatives they will be forced to use, since none of them wanted to be forced into taking care of a child that they might hate for the rest of their life, forced to take care of it after what happened to them, to grow close to something for months that has been born out of hate and fear and regrets. And it's not fair to say to a person in all this pain already that they just have to get over it and take care of the child, because it was their fault to begin with, which it never, ever, ever is. We can never blame the victim. And then we have to talk about the fact that a woman can miscarry a child. And it's never easy when that happens. I know women who tried for years to get a baby and were not able to. And then having to drag them in to find out if was this a miscarriage or was this an abortion during all this pain, it just hurts my heart to think about all the pain and suffering this family is already going through, and then having to be investigated as if they were criminals because there was a miscarriage. And I really don't understand why some people seem so happy to just say, well, it's just a woman's fault. But then they don't want to help the same women with good health care or better prices for hygiene products, and why we blame them. Even if a man enters a woman without a condom on, we tell the woman it was her fault, and they could just say no. And it's always not that easy to say no. And I still don't get it why we keep saying it's always the women's fault. It should always be both responsibility to make sure they have safe sex. And I know it sounds hypocritical for me to say that we men should not control a woman's body, and then I do, as a man, a podcast about abortions and how I actually feel they should be illegal. And I'm not doing this out of evil intent. I'm doing this to talk about why it's so important to actually have legal abortions. And I do not intend to create any hurt or harm to any woman out there. But every time I see the news about a new law like this being signed, 95% of the time it's a man, an old man, who is the driving force behind it. And often it's an old man living in a place where old men are also in control of the religion. And hear me out. And if we want to say it's always the woman's fault, then maybe we need to outfit all men with a sperm killing pump that you can get installed in your scrotum. And then you will need a woman to sign to say it's okay for you to begin to make babies. That way we don't have any more births coming out of nowhere, because the woman will have the control of when she feels her and her boyfriend are ready to have a child. And I'm guessing when most of people are listening to this, they'll say, what the fuck? That is one stupid idea. But why is it stupid? Is it to do that we are now giving the woman the control? Since this is basically what we have done to women, giving all the blame to them and forcing them to take a pill every day to make sure that they don't get pregnant, that can fuck up their hormones and stuff. And then also blame them to make sure that they make sure that us men use a condom, instead of actually us men taking responsibility and using a condom. And if they live in a place, sadly, like we see in Texas, it seems that they have to take all the blame no matter what. And even if they're raped, they still have to take the blame. And it just hurts my heart when stuff like that happens. And we need to begin to look at who makes the decision. And do they actually have all the facts? Are they professionals? Are they the right gender? Since right now, it's basically just us saying that we want to control the woman body again. Going back to when a woman had to go to the doctor because she was hysterical to get an orgasm, to then get out again because her husband thought she was hysterical. And we really need to look to the professionals and the people who know stuff about it, instead of looking into religion and saying, well, this book, who for some reason I was never able to find a place that really said that can fit the pig, since all religious text is used differently in places all over the world due to how the priests analyze the text and what they believe it means. Where if you have something that is facts, something that is completed in data, then you can only analyze it basically in one way. And if we need to move forward, then we need to go forward in time instead of backwards. Every time people are trying to control women or another religion or another culture. And we all live in a world where we say we all want equal rights. But while saying that, we are taking away rights from women, since the one who should be able to take the decision about an abortion should be the woman and the doctor or therapist she's going with. And let's hope that down the line something amazing will happen, so women no longer have to take back alley abortions, or who has to get into debt to actually travel to another place or country to try and get an abortion that might save their life. An abortion is healthcare. There's no way around it. It is often done to save the woman or the woman and the child. And I hope I did not sound too angry saying all this. It's a hard episode to talk about since it gets close to me. Since I know people who had abortions, I know people who has been raped, who has been victims of incest, and I also know people who miscarried for years and couldn't get a baby, and it filled them all with fear, dread, and sadness. And at some point it even controlled their lives, and it makes it impossible to let them get the help they need if we keep saying this is illegal. We have to stop this. It has to be legal so we can build up a proper support mechanism about it all. Instead of saying it's evil and it's hurtful, we have to look at it as something where we can actually help. And you don't help by saying this should be illegal. You can now get no help. You can help by making it legal and then educate in a proper way, talk about it in an open way, and then if the need be, have doctors, nurses, and therapists that can help sort out your mind. Because they do need help both before an abortion, during an abortion, and after an abortion, if they get one. Because it's not an easy decision, it never is. But for some reason, some people keep saying that it's something that will just be done, on a Friday evening just because they can. And it's never that way. I never met anyone who had an abortion who took the decision in minutes. It has always been a long talk, something that had taken time to actually decide on what to do. And one more thing, that 6 weeks that the Texas law is stating, well, most women don't know that they are pregnant by that point. Since you get your period about every 28 days, so that's about 3.5 weeks. So you're probably only a few days over and then you don't think about it. So it's kind of a stupid law. And I really do hope that we can make the world a better place and make it safe for women and men. But right now, the women are in most danger, and they have been for a long time, and we really need to start having a better eye on it. So if you want to join me in a talk, feel free to join me on social sites like Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram. And if you want to listen to some other episodes, you can find them on basically any site that have podcasts like Spotify and Google Podcasts. And all that's left to say is I wish you all a very nice day.